Have you ever thought about doing like stand-up or something like that?
I've thought of it, but the thought of getting on stage and people like throwing apples at me and booing and not laughing at my jokes would make me cry. So.
Totally, yeah. What's up, everybody? It's Jack here with the Pure World Podcast, and today our guest is Kayla Fisher.
Hi.
So, Kayla, for anybody who's watching right now who doesn't know who you are, do you want to give them a quick rocket pitch?
Yeah, sure. My name is Kayla. I'm mainly on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm a social media content creator, and I'm also a musician.
A musician?
Yes.
How long have you been making music for?
Unprofessionally, since I was like 4.
Yep.
If you ask my mom.
Right.
And professionally, I'm working on my first EP. So that's been in the works for a little under a year now, and it's been a blast.
Wow. What was the decision like to make an EP?
Originally, I was just kind of working on my social media, working on my TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And once I reached an established audience and more opportunities kind of became available to me, I decided that I would take the jump and take the leap and take on that passion project because I've always loved music, and I met with a producer, and from there it's just been amazing.
Wow, that's awesome.
Thank you.
And how many songs is it going to have, and like when did you write them?
It's going to be 6 songs, 6 to 8.
Okay.
And I've been writing them for the most part over the last year, but there is one that steals lyrics from a song that I wrote when I was like 15, 16.
Cool.
So that one's
Cool.
super exciting.
Wow. And you're pretty big on social media, TikTok. How did you get started with that?
So when COVID hit and everybody was locked up and we had nothing else to do, I, like many, jumped on TikTok and started recording silly little videos. And once they started gaining traction, it pushed me to want to do it more and more.
Yeah.
And until the point where I had developed an audience and I knew like, okay, yeah, this is kind of what I love and this is what I want to keep doing. And that's what's taken me to doing it full time now.
How many videos in did it take you to start getting some traction?
I would say maybe like 20 to 30. I think if you kind of put your head to it and you record like a couple times a day, you have that one video that does well. And then once that one video does well, that doesn't mean every single one after that is going to do well. So I think it was like 20 to 30 when I had my first, what I thought was viral at the time video. I think it had like 200,000 views, and that gave me the itch. Like I was like, oh my God, I want to do it again.
Yeah. You get addicted to it.
100%.
And you consider yourself like a comedian?
I don't. I like to just consider myself like me being my silly, goofy self on the internet, but other people consider my content comedy. So I just kind of go with what anybody wants to call it.
I was going to say, like, I definitely feel like it's comedy. Have you ever thought about doing like stand-up or something like that?
I've thought of it, but the thought of getting on stage and people like throwing apples at me and booing and not laughing at my jokes would make me cry. So
Totally. Yeah, I agree. It seems like really, really intimidating.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of failure before you hit that first like joke where people actually laugh.
Yep.
And it's just trial and error. Like I
100%.
feel for those people, but I mean, comedy, I think, is what makes the world go round.
100%. And, you know, every audience is going to have a different idea of what comedy is. So it's really just testing the waters of like, well, what's funny to the most amount of people?
Right. How has it been for you to like connect with your audience?
Oh my God, it's been amazing. It's been so cool because a lot of my content is based on like being a 20-something and not knowing what you're doing and kind of being raised in a society where like you're expected to just like be married with kids and a dog and a house on the hill and an established career in your mid-20s. And that is, for the most part, not the case. So it's been so fun, like connecting with an audience that is like in the same age group as me and them being like, oh my God, girl, I relate to this so much. And I also don't know what I'm doing. And so I'm glad like I'm not alone. Yeah. It's just like a nice community.
Wow. And with this music coming out, are you like writing songs for your audience, or do you like, how much do you keep your followers in mind when you're like writing and putting this out? Like, are you thinking about them for this specific album, or is it all just kind of what is natural to you?
It's definitely a good like 50-50 split. I think the good thing about having an audience that relates already with your content is that if you make music that's authentic to you, they already like you and they already relate to you. So I think my music reflects the kind of attitude I have in my TikToks, where it's like very much boss energy. Like you're not putting up with shit. Like you're just kind of going with the flow of life.
Yeah. That sounds really cool. What is the music scene like in Boston?
It's, tight knit, but people are so talented here. So
Yeah.
it's like, I've gotten to go to a couple little shows and watch people perform, and a lot of bars in Boston do live music. And so like now that I'm doing music, I watch them with a different eye. Like I'm kind
Yeah,
of watching them from more
totally.
of a professional eye, and how do you sing certain things?
Yeah.
And how is your band behind you kind of working with you?
Right.
But no, it's really cool. And I think everybody's really nice.
Are you thinking about like what it looks like to tour and do that live music thing?
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely factor in that, like with like breathing rhythms and, how long do you think you could hold this note on a stage, like versus the
Interesting.
studio where obviously we can, take breaks and make
Right.
sure you hit the note. So all of that gets factored in. But yeah, live music is totally the goal, and touring is totally the goal, and that would be the dream.
Wow. Touring sounds like it's a lot of energy.
Oh, 100%.
Like late night show and then early morning.
Yeah. Early morning radio interview for,
Yeah.
PR and
Yeah.
press, and then, another show.
On the road, probably.
Yep.
Just
sleeping
like,
in a bunk.
yeah. Oh, sleeping in the bunk. That is one thing that I forgot about. Yeah, you're in a bus, but on your first tour, it's probably not going to be just you on the bus.
Yeah,
It's
you're-
probably going to be like a bunk.
Oh, yeah. Throwing it back to like
Yeah.
kid camping experience.
Oh gosh, it sounds like a lot. But also, I do know that touring and tickets and live performances are a massive part of the income of like an artist. I was thinking that like for artists, like selling albums isn't as prevalent these days as it used to be, especially with Spotify. It's really easy to like put your music on Spotify, but those people who are listening to your music aren't necessarily like paying you for that music. And so back in the day when you sold 1 million records and the price for each of those records was $10, it's $10 million of revenue.
Yep.
And then you can get paid part of that, even if it's just 10% or something. Like you're still making $1 million.
Yeah.
Today, when you just toss it all on Spotify, you get fractions, you get pennies
Yeah.
for plays. I was at this what was it? It was like this like big band orchestra director was speaking at my college, and she was like really critical of this Spotify age. And she
Yeah.
was saying that back in the day, we used to turn on a record player and actually listen to this music. But nowadays, it's at the fingertip and they can listen. And then on TikTok, it's literally, a TikTok song, you could hear the 15 seconds or 6 seconds of a song over and over again. And that's what people know. Are you thinking about like TikTok and like how you can market your music on TikTok?
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, it's such a short
It's like a
piece of your song. So which piece of the song is going to want people to listen to the whole thing?
Right.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you're totally right. I think people nowadays, they have such short attention spans, me included. And
Yeah.
I think that's why TikTok has become so big, because we went from full length things to then YouTube, which was already short form content.
Right.
And now that's too much for us. So
Yeah.
TikTok. And so it's music. It's the same way, right? You want, how do I get somebody to listen to the whole song? How do I get somebody to listen to the whole album?
Yeah.
But no, that's definitely a big factor when you're kind of coming up with music.
Yeah. How often do you make TikTok videos?
I have a goal of posting 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Is that realistic? It is for like a normal person, but like I swear I cannot hold myself accountable. So it depends on the day. But the goal is 3 times a day. And usually, that takes place in reality of 1 or 2 shooting days a week where you're mass shooting.
Yep.
And then, you come up with your own little schedule for the week and everything's already in your drafts ready to post and you don't have to worry about it. But it's just holding yourself accountable to actually do that.
Totally. Do you have a team that helps you with your daily and weekly initiatives?
I have I have a team with music. Swallowed my own spit.
No worries.
I have a team that helps me a little bit with music, and then I have a separate team that helps me with sponsorships
Cool.
and negotiating those. But when it comes to actually filming and content creation and the ideas that I come up with, or like the scripts, that's 100% me. Editing, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And holding myself accountable for when I post and content calendars, that's all me.
Yeah. It's funny that, you say that you do like the creative side of things and like the editing. I find that like editing is something that's easily outsourced. But once you give away that creative control, like it's no longer your baby, and like it can come out in a different way.
Oh, 100%.
And then you end up micromanaging your video editors, and that it's difficult to get actually what you're envisioning out of somebody else. That's a huge challenge.
Absolutely. Because the delivery is
Yeah.
so key in like actually
Right.
making a piece of content entertaining.
And you have it in your mind.
Exactly. And editing can completely change the way a joke or a statement is delivered. And
Yeah. Do you have any advice for young people out there who are maybe like wanting to become some sort of creator?
yeah, it would really be just start now. Even if you just post a silly little video, maybe you don't think too much in it. Like the more you just get used to the idea of being on camera and not caring what people
Right.
think and posting, it's going to drive you to want to do it more and more.
What about like finding someone's passion? How important do you think having a passion is in being happy and doing what you love?
Well, I think it's huge. I think the good thing is you can have multiple passions,
Yeah.
but trying everything at least once, because you might think your passion is one thing and you take one class on one random week because it was discounted and
Right.
that turns into your passion. You know what I mean? Like you don't know until you try. So being passionate about what you're doing is so important to establishing a career where you're not miserable at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You got to balance your mental health and your career. And if you can be in a place where like you love your career, you're gold.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody who's listening and watching, this is an episode that had one of the worst mistakes ever. And basically, we filmed a lot more of this, but the audio was not connected. So if you like this snippet of the podcast, then leave your comments and send your messages to Kayla to come back on. Thank you all for listening. I'm Jack.
I'm Kayla.
And this is the Pure World Podcast. If you want to support the podcast, you can buy some of Pure World's sustainably sourced adventure gear. And Kayla, how can the people find you and support you?
You can find me on TikTok and Instagram. My handle on both are Kayla Michelle Fisher. Can't even say my own name. And the music should be released soon. And for more information on that, you can also find those on my social medias.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
See ya. Okay.